microtransactions and
DRM.
Downloadable content.
What's up, gamers? Welcome to Gamer Rant. We are going to be talking about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Assassin's Creed in general, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. There's something I think we need to get out of the bag real quickly. The biggest problem that I have with the Assassin's Creed franchise, I think, was a problem that most people have, and that's the anime. I never liked it, even from the very first game. The first time it pulls you out of the story you're playing to deal with Desmond. My initial thought was, I don't care about this dumbass character. I didn't care about Desmond. And I'm glad I didn't, because his story went absolutely fucking nowhere. But besides that, another issue that I've always had with the Assassin's Creed franchise is the Pieces of Eden. I mean, this franchise has created so many Pieces of Eden, it's like, how is it that the Assassins and the Templars just don't find this shit lying around themselves by basically exploring? Because there are fucking so many of them. They're clearly not as rare as they're made out to be in the world that Ubisoft has created. And, you know, this begs a question whether or not Assassin's Creed Odyssey it can be considered an Assassin's Creed game. I've seen some people say no, because you fight Medusa and mythical creatures. That's not historically accurate. All right, for the diehard fanboys that have their head shoved up their ass, let me unfortunately disappoint you. Objectively, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is an Assassin's Creed game because it follows the same formula that every fucking one of it in the past has done before. You are playing an individual who is, in this case, associated with the Assassins, who are looking into the past history of an ancestor to locate a piece of Eden. That's been the basic premise of every fucking story since the beginning of Assassin's Creed franchise. That's a fact. And the only difference here is that they are looking in a point in history where the Templars and the Assassins didn't exist. And because they have the stupid-ass modern bullshit, then it does make sense that both the Assassins and the Templars from the modern era would look in time periods for pieces of Eden when the Templars and the Assassins didn't exist. As opposed to the mythical creatures in the game literally explains this, that they weren't even real. They were created by an artifact, basically a magical artifact, which isn't anything new to the Assassin's Creed franchise, because that's literally the Pieces of Eden. They are a magical artifact. I mean, this is the franchise that also introduced aliens. So tell me how fucking historically accurate aliens and the Pieces of Eden are, and yet you're sitting here bitching about fucking Medusa when there are far more important things you could be having concerns about when it comes to the franchise as a whole. For example, them telling the same goddamn fucking regurgitated story over and over again. They do. They tell it over and over again. The modern day story is the exact same fucking shit always and ever. Somebody, Templars or Assassins, looking in the memories of somebody, trying to locate Pieces of Eden. They have to get to it before the other side does. They do the same thing for the past story. The only difference is we have a character who is unaware of Pieces of Eden, but then that character becomes aware of Pieces of Eden, and they have to get them before the other side does. I say the other side because in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, she has to get them before the cultist group does. So it's literally the same. It is objectively, unfortunately, it follows the same formula as every other Assassin's Creed game. The only difference is the past story they're telling has no association with the Templars and the Brotherhood. All right? You'd have more of an argument that it's not a true Assassin's Creed game if the Animus didn't fucking exist in the first place. Which I have stated, like many players before, it never should have. They should have taken it out years ago, because it is completely fucking pointless. I mean, they could tell far more compelling stories without the Animus and without the stupid regurgitated bullshit that is the Pieces of fucking Eden. Because like I've stated, Ubisoft has created so many fucking Pieces of Eden, it's like How is it that fucking Tom, Dick, Harry, Mom, Dad, Grandma, and the motherfucking kitchen sink just ain't finding these fucking shits all by themselves? Because they're not as fucking rare as motherfucking Ubisoft makes out to be in the stories, because they've created so fucking many of them. It's ridiculous. It honestly is. And then, of course, we look into Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And, you know, it looks like it's going to be the same thing in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. You're going to be playing a modern-day story, looking in the ancestors in order to find pieces of Eden. Our character, the Viking character, or whichever you choose to be, male or female, is at some point going to become aware of pieces of Eden, and he has to get them before the other bad side does. Same damn regurgitated story that we've seen time and time again. And you know, it begs the question, why the fuck do people still buy Assassin's Creed? Hell, it makes me wonder why I continued to buy them even before Odyssey. Although technically I didn't purchase Unity, Revelations. I did recently, alright? That's because they were like fucking $8 in like fucking crap stops bargain bin. So I was like, alright, I'll pick these up years later after the fact. But still, it's like, you know, when they first came out, I was like, nah. But it was like, there was still a point where it was like, why did I continue to buy them? It's literally the same stupid-ass, tired story time and time again. And, you know, if they got rid of the Animus, they got rid of the stupid pieces of Eden, they could tell far more compelling stories. They don't even have to be stuck in old time periods. They could jump to, like, World War II, World War III, all kinds of stuff they could jump to. And they could incorporate the Templars and the Assassins in that and tell a far more compelling story than the half-ass stuff they come up with. And, you know, when I looked at Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it was basically them talking about Vikings, you know, they're very combat-oriented. As soon as they said that, I was like, and that's sure enough. They didn't even focus on stealth or anything like that. They focused on basically the guns blazing combat. And then nonchalantly, offhand, they were like, oh yeah, you can also do things stealth-like. But that was it. That was it. And then they went back to talking about the guns blazing combat. I don't really see how people are getting excited about this game. I mean, I don't even see why people would want to review this game. But there's got to be plenty of people that are going to review this game. Angry Joe's going to review this game. And, you know, I did a video talking about Angry Joe once before, about The Last of Us 2, where he says he is going to review The Last of Us 2 because it's his job. Bullshit, it's your job. No reviewer reviews every fucking game that comes out. The only reason why he wants to review the game is because it's controversial and he could make money from it. That's the only reason why. Money is overplaying his rational thought process in not liking the game, but he's gonna still buy it and support it, which makes no fucking sense to me. This same concept applies to this. Why would you, as a reviewer, because you don't have to review every game, no reviewer reviews every game. But because it's popular, people are gonna do it. That's the only reason why. Because they want to fucking make money from it. Which is why I need to get off my lazy ass and start reviewing games. Because I don't make money from that shit. So I'd be like, yeah, I'm not reviewing Assassin's Creed Valhalla because I'm not a shield like all the other reviewers. I stick to what I say and what I do. I don't make excuses, well, this is my job. No, it isn't. I could list 5 billion fucking games that every other game reviewer has never fucking reviewed. Get out of here with this horse shit, it's their job. Man, that was a tangent rant, wasn't it? That was out somewhere in fucking left field. But hey, this is Gamer Rant, alright? We do that here. I think I've explained everything that needs to be said about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, even though I only kind of touched on it a little bit. But talking about the entire franchise and the cliche aspects of it, the Animus and the Pieces of Eden, and it's literally probably going to be a direct copy of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They're going to put you in a time period where the Templars and the Assassins don't exist. I mean, I would be quite surprised if they actually do exist, but everyone that's played the demo, and from all the footage that we have seen, information we have gotten, at least that I have seen, there is nothing to suggest that the Brotherhood or the Assassins are in the old story. All right, you know, with the Vikings. And even if I were somehow proven wrong that they are gonna be in it, it's still going to be the same regurgitated story. We have to find pieces of Eden. So why the fuck do people still continue to play this goddamn franchise? You know, I think the problem here is what we need a developer that looks at games like this that are popular and they're like, I see why that's popular. I'm going to make my own and I'm going to make it better. I'm going to do better. Because honestly, I think just about anyone could. Anyway, that's my thoughts and opinions on Valhalla, Odyssey, and the entire Assassin's Creed franchise in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed this video in some fashion or form. And remember, gamers, if you're not voicing your thoughts and concerns about the bullshit in gaming, you just might be a part of the motherfucking problem.